Hi, Ann Gomez of Clear Concept Inc. here. So excited to talk to you about delegating because as we all know, delegating is a critical skill, especially as we transition from the early days in our career where we really made a name for ourselves by being a good doer, but then transitioning into being a great manager. And these two things require a different skill set. So what I'd like to introduce to you is a framework to help you master delegation. But as we all know, there are some things that get in the way when it comes to delegating. I like to call this the delegating conundrum, which essentially is the fact, and there's no shame in saying this, that you are the best person for the job. You're the best person for the job because you have worked hard, you are good at what you do, you've acquired a lot of skills, a lot of experience. And I don't know about you, but I was taught early in the day that always ask who's the best person for the job and delegate that work to that person. But if you find yourself thinking, well, really, it's faster for me to do it, it's more cost effective, or whatever the case may be, because you're faster, then we tend to hold on to work. So what I'd like to do is walk through the most common challenges and how we can overcome those challenges. Of course, the challenges break down into 4 things. The first is that who has time to delegate? I have to delegate because I'm low on time. I don't have the time to spend training someone. So that's a very common obstacle. Other obstacles include that quality and initiative that other people may not be able to deliver or may not have because they're not as experienced with this type of work or committed or motivated or excited about this type of work as you are. This project could be your baby, and not everyone is going to bring that level of enthusiasm around that type of work. So how do you overcome that? And then the 4th challenge that people have to address is capacity. Yes, I'd love to delegate, but everyone else is busy and they don't have time to support me. So the best way to address all of the, or the last 3 is to leverage the art of delegating. But now I'd like to share how you overcome the fact that you're too busy to train other people. First, let's talk about the time investment. As I said, the first time you delegate, it's always faster to do it yourself. So let's say there's a job that takes you, let's call it 3 hours of work. If you were to delegate it to someone else, then it's probably still going to take you 3 hours of work because you've got to coach, review work, edit, meet with them repeatedly, and it's probably going to take them 6 hours because this is perhaps one of the first times they've done this type of work. They haven't developed the efficiencies that you've developed over the years. So if you look at this equation, it doesn't make sense to delegate. But we have to think of delegating as long-term play. The 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th time you delegate, that's where you start to get the payoff in terms of freeing up your time to focus on other priorities, other core priorities. And even if they don't ever get as fast as you, which is probably unlikely, with more experience, there's a good chance that they'll get way faster and better at the task, with all due respect, than you. But we are thinking of the balance here in terms of the overall allocation of your team's resources. With turnaround, let's say that 3-hour chunk of work is absolutely something well within your skill set, but because of your other competing demands on your time, other priorities, it's going to take you 5 days to turn that work around. The first time you delegate, you don't get any economies of scale. It still takes 5 days to turn around because you got to meet with that person, review, edit, etc. We're not getting the payoff the first time. So it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th time, that's when we start to get the delegating payoff.